Good evening, everyone, and welcome here to ABC Action News at 5:30. I'm Paula Groen. Great to be with you, and we begin with those new developments tonight designed to protect victims of domestic violence. It's a new state law that speeds up the process of getting a restraining order. ABC Action News reporter Vanessa Ariza today with what it means for victims wondering if they have to wait for the paperwork to keep them safe.
Tampa police responded to 600 domestic violence calls this year alone. Supporters of this new law say it will allow injunctions to speed through the court system. 30 years ago, Courtney Wheel couldn't have imagined the freedom she would have owning her own restaurant, or her life for that matter. Rather, she was focused on keeping herself alive from an abusive partner.
He began kicking me in the stomach, throwing me on the ground, and I said, what are you doing? He said, well, you were pregnant before, I couldn't do this.
That abuse went on for 2 years. She finally found refuge at the Spring of Tampa Bay Domestic Violence Center. It's there an attorney started the paperwork for an injunction.
I remember having to fill out all the paperwork, and then you had to submit the paperwork, and then you had to wait for the paperwork to come back and wait for him to be served before everything was in place.
In that time, she says her abuser continued to threaten her, follow her to work, and even tried running her off the road. Legally, he could get away with some of it because her injunction was waiting to be finalized. Back then, the processing was done through traditional mail.
No one should have to wait for protection while the Postal Service attempts to deliver a restraining order.
Thanks to the partnership between Senator Janet Cruz and Hillsborough County Clerk of Court Cindy Stewart, that is changing. Senate Bill 654 was signed into law last week by Governor Ron DeSantis, now allowing injunctions to be filed electronically, meaning they go into effect faster.
They actually can file injunctions now through our online system, so they never have to leave their safe place.
Systems to file can also be found at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, the courthouse, and the Spring of Tampa Bay Domestic Violence Center. The law will go into effect on October 1st. It just so happens to be the start of Domestic Violence Month. Will says it's a win she hopes will produce more survivors than shame.
And I'm hoping with everything that these women will have more courage to leave sooner because they know that there's something that will help.
In Tampa, Vanessa Ariza, ABC Action News.